You might wonder how the products you use every day are tested to ensure human safety. What if I told you that many of the products that you use are tested on animals before they are used on humans? We need to stop testing our products on animals because it harms the animals and disregards their lives. Today I'm going to be telling you about why animal testing is used and the history behind it, the harm it causes animals, and alternative solutions and faults of animal testing. I will begin by telling you the history behind animal testing and why it is done. So animal testing has been going on for a very long time. In the ancient times, scientists experimented on animals to satisfy their curiosity. They did experiments on animals that were alive in order to learn more about them and compare them to other animals, and they even did behavioral tests, and some of them were extremely cruel. One of them, they would cut the baby out of the mama dog's stomach, and whenever they held the baby in front of the dog, it would calm down, but if they held anything else in front of the dog or harmed the baby in front of the dog would growl. And according to medicaldaily.com, an Arab physician of the 12th century practiced his surgeries on animals before he did them on humans, and later when his work was rediscovered, it inspired animal testing to happen again. And in 1938, the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act was passed because many of the products that were being passed for human consumption were not safe for humans, so this act made it to where products had to be tested on animals before humans could have them. And there are three main reasons as to why testing on animals is still being done, even though there are alternative solutions to it. One of them is the safety. They test the products on animals because the government requires a certain level of safety to be passed to humans, so they have to meet the legal requirements and make sure that they are not producing any hazardous materials. Another main point is the efficiency of the products. They have to make sure that what they are putting out there actually works and doesn't cause any negative side effects. And another big thing is the liability, because if companies do not test their products, then they can be sued if something goes wrong, and testing them on animals is an easy way to do that. And according to PETA, millions of animals are locked up right now all across the world. There are tons of different species ranging from dogs to mice. And then this is a graph and it shows all of the animal testing in the US. The red area counts for all of the mice, birds, and fish that are being tested on, but there is also a pretty large percentage of dog, cats, farm animals, and gerbils being tested on as well. Now that I have told you why animal testing is used and the history behind it, I will tell you the harm that it causes animals. There are around 25 million animals used for animal testing in the US per year, and with that being said, most of them will not survive animal testing. A lot of the physical things that they will go through is burning skin, brain damage, and immobilization. Whenever they test products on animals, they can either inject stuff into their eyes to see the reaction, or with cosmetics, they will rub it on the skin to see the reaction. But other than physical pain, the animals also deal with a lot of stress and trauma. With many things, they will try to induce stress onto the animals in order to see how the medication will then affect them. So with mice, they will put them in water and make them feel like they are drowning, and then give them the medication to see if there's any improvement. Another thing that can be affected is the eyesight of the animals. With this animal, it's a rabbit, and according to Neebs.com, it was tested where they put injections into the eye, and it's called the Dray's test. And the Dray's test usually turns out to be negative effects on the animals because it'll cause swelling and they will lose their eyesight, and then since it is injured, after the process it'll be killed. This rat was used to test medication that had to do with brain dead patients. So they made its brain dead and then tested the medication. And then this rabbit was tested for cosmetic reasons, and as you can see, its fur has fallen off and its skin is really irritated. Also, a lot of companies have came up with posters or slogans to try to get other companies to be test animal free. And here's a list of companies that still test on animals and companies that no longer test on animals. Some of the more popular companies are the ones that do test on animals like Clorox and Febreze, and then some that do not test on animals would be Lush and Bath and Body Works. Now that I have told you the harm that animal testing can cause to the animals, I will tell you the alternative solutions and the faults of animal testing. Other than the fact that animal testing harms the animals, there are many faults to it. One of them is that it is not always accurate. So this means that animals' DNA is a lot different than humans' DNA. You can't expect a rat to react the same way as a human would to a product. And some examples of this would be from the medication thalidomide in the 1950s. It was passed whenever tested on animals, but then whenever it was used for human consumption, many pregnant women used it because it was supposedly supposed to stop morning sickness. And once they used it, a lot of them had miscarriages and their babies were born with deformities. Another example of this is from the drug called Vioxx. Whenever tested on rats, it protected their hearts, but whenever the drug was used by humans, it caused a lot of heart attacks and a lot of deaths in people. Also, animal testing is really expensive, and there are alternative solutions that are a lot cheaper. And it's expensive because most of the animals have to be purchased before they are used, and after they are purchased, they have to be kept alive through the entire duration of their test, so their food has to be paid for, they have to have a place to live, and all of that. And then lastly, it just goes against a lot of people's morals, so a lot of people do not agree with it, yet it is still happening. And also, the process of animal testing is completely legal, but here in Arkansas, if you harm or kill certain animals, you can go to prison for up to a year. There are alternative solutions to animal testing. One of those is called computer modeling, and with that you can use a screening system to uncover how drugs affect the human body, and it can all be done completely on a computer, and it produces more accurate results. According to HSI.org, a switch to human relative research tools would make the process of testing products a lot more efficient, and there would be less mistakes being made. And this is called this uses human cells, and it's called organ on a stick. It has all of the human cells inside of it, so whenever you put the products or chemicals on it, it'll tell you exactly how humans react to it, and that's another great alternative solution to animal testing. In conclusion, animal testing is morally wrong, and we should treat living things better than we do. Tonight I have told you why animal testing is used and the history behind it, the harm it causes, and alternative solutions and faults of it. I guarantee if any of you checked your medicine cabinet, makeup cabinet, or chemical cabinet, you would find that you buy from companies that do support animal testing. Overall, testing products differently is possible, so why do you want to continue testing products on animals?